Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new here. I'm Alexandra and I am back with a new speed building video, this time in The Sims, and I am so excited to finally share with you this very big building on this very big lot that I've been doing a very long time ago. Actually, this was one of the first builds that I did for my Brindleton based safe house. And we are building actually yacht club. I never built in my life a yacht club. I always wanted to, ever since we got cats and dogs, and each time I was in Brindleton Bay doing completely something else, I was like, I have to do. It's time for me to do yacht club. But apparently I never did that, and I'm so happy that through the safe house I managed to do it, because it's impossible for Brindleton Bay not to have a yacht club. So here it is. We are on this 64 by 64 lot in Brindleton Bay. And as you can see, we started the build, in fact, the lot, not the build, with a very huge pool, which actually is gonna be a pond. It's gonna work as a pool, obviously, but it's gonna be looking like a pond. And I'm so happy that I have this very big coastal building next to this pond. And overall, oh my god, I think this is one of my favorite builds I did. I also said that in my tour of the safe house, which I will link for you down below in the description if you want to check that out in case you've missed it. The Brindleton Bay safe house is out, and I said there that this is one of my favorite builds. And I think it's gonna always be one of my favorite coastal builds that I did. And I'm gonna say again, I know I said there, but I'm gonna repeat myself. This style is very hard for me to do with The Sims. I don't know why. The shape of the coastal build, it's easy for me. And I think for me it's easy like any kind of a shell. I love doing exteriors, and I love working with roofing. And I don't see anything hard in that. But when it comes to furnishing the interiors with this very blue and white and very maritime style, I kind of find it hard, but not because it's a hard style, because The Sims makes it hard. And for some reason, I struggled a lot with the aesthetic, because for some reason I couldn't find easily the necessary items and, furniture things and decor to help me make this as realistic as possible in a very coastal Hamptons, New England style. But in the end, I tried to make it work. I tried to have it as realistic as I could, and I love it. I mean, in the end, as I said, it's one of my favorite builds. And as you can see, I've struggled a lot with the roofing, with a lot of pieces of roofs, and I try to connect them. And in the same time, you can see that this building is basically, I started to build it on the second floor, not the main floor that's actually on the ground, because I didn't want it to have a foundation of this build. And why is that? Because I wanted it to be connected to a dock. The dock that's actually floating above the pond. I know that kind of doesn't really make sense. Like, yeah, some people might say you could do that. You just could have, the actual ground as a pond, as a dock on the pond. But I wanted it to be floating, and I wanted it to have a lot of debug, wood beams underneath for support. And I wanted it to be, different. And the fact that I made this kind of floating, in the air, but you cannot see that's floating because I hide it very carefully, and you can see that in the future, like in the next minutes of the video, you're not gonna see that it's basically floating. And because we're gonna have an actual trim that surrounds all the flooring that's outside the shell of the build. But the thing is, the fact that I did this trick helped me, because we actually have an underground floor inside the building, obviously. And what's fun about that, it's that we have some glass walls. It's actually some sort of a wellness center. I was imagining you can go swim there, and it's like it's an indoor pool basically, but I wanted it to be more interesting And from that indoor pool, you can actually see to the outdoor lake or pond or whatever you want to call it. And I really thought that's also a nice and cute idea. And as you can see, the shell of the build is not that hard. It wasn't that hard to make. It was just time consuming with all of that roofing. And then I focused a lot on the landscape because, as I said, we are on this 64 by 64, and I really wanted to like integrate all this lot to make it feel like it belongs to this, waterfront area, because we have, the ocean next to this lot, and we have those big, beautiful rocks. And that's actually why I used all of those big rocks. Those are actually my favorite rocks that are in the Tiba catalog. I think they come with Eco Lifestyle, if I'm not wrong. I might be wrong, but I think we have similar ones with vampires. But anyway, they look very similar and they look so natural. And it actually makes it feel like this lake or this pond. I think I would rather say lake now because a pond is smaller than us. And yes, the fact is, these stones makes the lake looking like it's actually belonging to this, water area. And I really love it. I really feel it's, natural there. And yes, as you can see, we are gonna move slowly to feel every empty space that's on this lot. And that's why I had the idea to have a small parking lot here, because I assume rich people will come here with their boats to actually sail. But that's, a dream of us, a dream that we can have, and we will play a bit pretend because you cannot do that on the sea. But you can use the boats from the Royalty and Legacy pack or the boats from Island Living on this lake that I did. I know it's a pool. We can also use the kayaks here, and I was so happy when I playtested, because actually when I started this, I was like, okay, let's see if kayaks work on a pool, because I was scared it's not gonna be possible to do that. And if that wouldn't be possible, I would drop the idea of having such a huge lake in this lot. But when I saw it's functional and they can use the kayaks and they can use the jet skis, and they can actually use the Island Living boats. And in fact, I used the ones from Royalty and Legacy Pack because they're more elegant and beautiful. I was so happy, and I was like, okay, a very huge lake it is. It's gonna be here, it's gonna stay here. I'm not gonna change my mind. So that's what I actually did. And overall, besides the parking lot and, I don't know, some, entry decor, we don't really have a lot happening outside because the build is huge, the lake is huge, and I didn't really have, all the space that I wanted. And speaking about the decor of this house, a lot of whites, a lot of blacks, and here and there some touches of blue. I wanted it to be very elegant but not so cluttered, with some, rich vibes, a bit of a rich alert here and there, because I assume that this lot can be actually owned by a very rich family. So in the safe house, if you get this save, this is gonna be functioning as custom venue lot in the safe house if you download it. If you want to download this build separately, it's on my Patreon and it's gonna be on the gallery after the early access ends. It's gonna be a good idea for you to make it a small business and actually earn some money with this building. Because, long story short, I wanted this to be, I wanted it to be a small business, but then I realized it's not gonna be a small business, and then I wanted it to be a recreation center, but then I changed my mind. It's a completely long story, but in the end, it's a custom venue. Everything works perfectly fine. People are coming here and they are doing activities as they're supposed to do accordingly to the schedule I preset. But I really think this, now that I think about it, I really think I should have, left it to be an actual small business, to have a family that runs it, have an income, because people are gonna pay to come here. And I really think that's a really nice way, to maybe have a rags to riches. But I think it's gonna be like easy money, because a lot of people are gonna come here, they're gonna pay a fee for everything, and you can actually get rich quite easily. But in fact, you need to be rich in order to have this business, because I really think it's very, very, very expensive. And you're going to see that we have a restaurant in chef's kitchen, because as I said, I wanted it to be a small business, and I wanted it to have an actual Sam that's gonna, actually cook meals for them and sell everything. So people, will gonna come here, use everything, absolutely everything, eat everything, drink everything, and just pay for that. But again, you can use this as your own house if you want to download it and refurnish it. It can also look very cool as an actual family house, but it's not furnished for that purpose. So inside we have a restaurant, we have a lounge area, we have a bar area, and on the upper floor we have the playroom where are like pub games, and we also have some sort of a bar / nightclub kind of thingy, because I thought you can actually have an event going on here. You can have a wedding, you can have a party, birthday party, even funeral if you're brave enough. And overall, I think there's a lot you can do here. You can have, a vacation. You can enjoy the pool, the lake, swimming, going on a date, whatever you want. I mean, considering how beautiful the surroundings are, we don't really need to be indoor to have fun in this building. You can stay outside and enjoy everything. And yes, I think we're moving to the interior, and we're actually starting with the indoor pool, which is underground. And again, I made it somehow very modern, I would say. The pool area is very modern, and the other parts of the building are actually a bit more traditional. Again, in a coastal way, in a very maritime way. I used a lot blues, and the actual wallpapers that came with Royalty and Legacy Pack with the lighthouse are actually perfect for this building. And I used them in several rooms, and I'm happy that I did that. They're one of my favorites. And yes, we have reception area. And over than that, I completely forgot that on the upper floor we also have a wine tasting room. I really thought that's a very sweet idea to have. And yes, I really think that's kind of everything I had to cover about this. I know I was yapping a lot about, absolutely nothing. I know I was talking a lot about things I did outside, but when it comes to the interior, all I can say it was hard to find, the rugs, the curtains, the wallpapers that are perfect, the decor and everything. I would really actually love, a kit or a pub or something that has more coastal things. I would very much like that. As I said, it's not that hard, but it's time consuming and difficult to find everything. But in the end, you should let me know if I managed to, furnish this building in a very coastal, maritime, aquatic, whatever you want to call it, style. So yes, moving on, we're gonna furnish the lounge area, we're gonna furnish the indoor restaurant. We also have the outdoor dining, which I think it's the prettiest space in this lot. I love that. I would love to have a meal there on the dock, and with that beautiful view over the lake. I would love this in real life. I think it would be a dream come true. But yes, I believe now I will leave you watch the rest of the video. Thank you so much for being here and watching this speed build. I really, really appreciate you, and I really am hoping to see you all next time with a brand new build. And until then, I really hope you are gonna have an amazing rest of your day. And don't forget to leave a like, a comment, and a sub to the channel to help the channel grow. And I'm sending you a lot of hugs. Bye, everybody.